Welcome back to the Wrestling Elitist channel. Today's video, we will be discussing a very interesting topic in my opinion. We'll be discussing what each WrestleMania main event should have been in this past decade. Now, the 2010s, it's given us some very interesting WrestleMania main events, and it's given us a few which just no one really wants to see in the main event, where there are matches earlier on in the card that should have been the main event, or there are matches that they should have booked that just didn't even happen. So WWE, they could have changed a lot this decade, and let's get right into it. So, WrestleMania 26, they main evented with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I wouldn't have changed anything about that. That was fantastic. The way they did that match, with the retirement of Shawn Michaels afterwards, which he stuck to for, 8.5 years before Crown Jewel, we'll forget about that. And then The Undertaker, he hit with the streak on the line. I think this was great. It wasn't as good as the match at WrestleMania 25, but basically nothing is. That match was flawless. This match at 26, great match. These two did what they needed to do. Simple as that. So we'll move on. WrestleMania 27. For WrestleMania 27, it's a weird one because The Miz versus John Cena, that's not happening if I was rebooking this. Miz and Cena's not main eventing any show. Any big show. No WrestleMania main event for them too. The fact that The Miz main evented WrestleMania over CM Punk, just at all, that's disgusting. Miz isn't going to main event. Personally, I'd have that Undertaker Triple H, the no holds barred match main event this show, because you gotta remember, around this time period, Undertaker was just putting on classic after classic after classic. There was the 25 match with Michaels, the 26 match with Michaels, and then this match here with Triple H. It was just fantastic. So that's what I would have done. Undertaker and Triple H, we would have closed the show with actually a decent taste in our mouths. Fair enough. WrestleMania 27 was absolutely nothing special as a show. Like, what did that show really give us in perspective? Like, I look back on that show right now off the top of my head. Like, I remember Edge standing on top of Del Rio's car with the world title. Punk faced Randy Orton. And what else happened? Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole. WrestleMania 27 just wasn't good. Having Undertaker Triple H main event and be the main memory people have from that show, as in a prominent standpoint, I think that'd be better. You can still have Cena and Miz if you want. I don't think that was good at all. I get why they did it, building up for WrestleMania 28 with Cena and Rock, but regardless, I didn't like it at all. So, WrestleMania 27, I'd have Undertaker Triple H, no holds barred in the main event, instead of Cena and Miz. So WrestleMania 28, this one's a tricky one because the show had two matches that could have easily main evented. One of them did, one of them went on earlier in the show. I think we all know what they are. The end of an era Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Triple H, with Michaels as referee, and then The Rock and Cena. This one, it's really just what you really feel like. Personally, I would have had Undertaker Triple H main event. Just after seeing the two matches in hindsight, Undertaker Triple H was just a better match. Having WrestleMania 28 close with Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels standing on the stage, looking out at the audience, just reminiscing, I think that'd be a perfect way to close the show. Instead, they had Rock beat Cena, Rock standing on the ropes, Cena's looking all depressed on the aisleway. It was an alright way to end the show. It was a great spectacle match. I still would have had it at WrestleMania 28, but regardless, I just don't feel like that match should have really gone on last, personally. That end of an era Hell in a Cell match was just so good, so that's what I'd have main event, WrestleMania 28. Now, WrestleMania 29, here's where we really get interesting. Cena and Rock main evented in a rematch of 28. This was something that next to no one agreed with. Now, I could see what Vince McMahon was going for with the storyline and the storytelling, but it was so predictable. You knew from WrestleMania 28, as soon as that ending happened, that WrestleMania 29, they'd probably go with Cena beating Rock and getting his redemption. Sure enough, they did, and everyone hated it. So, instead what I'd do, I'd have a triple threat with CM Punk, John Cena, and The Rock. Now, some of you might say, well, where does Punk come into it? You're clearly just a fanboy of Punk, no credibility. Listen up. CM Punk was WWE Champion for 434 days, from Survivor Series 2011 to the 2013 Royal Rumble. At the Rumble, he lost the belt to The Rock, okay? CM Punk, Rock, and Cena were intertwined in this three-way storyline that whole time period from like January through like end of February. So Punk's around the mark here. At the Elimination Chamber, Punk lost the rematch to The Rock. That was with all the BS regarding like getting The Rock counted out or disqualified and he loses the title. Punk just being a coward heel, that kind of thing. And then Punk and Cena had the match on Raw on the 25th of the 25th of February, I believe. They had that match, which that was to decide who faces The Rock in the WrestleMania main event. What I would have done there, so those two have a great match. What I would have done is I would have had like a draw, and then they do a triple threat, because you might as well. That Cena and Rock match was a bucket of piss. It wasn't a good match. Like, that's the fact of the matter. It wasn't a good match. It was a bad way to close WrestleMania 29, which was another disappointing WrestleMania. The only good match on that show was, surprise, surprise, CM Punk versus The Undertaker, which you could have had that main event, but I feel like Punk, Cena, Rock, it has like more draw power to it. Cena, Rock are in there. You get Punk in the main event, so this is his first WrestleMania main event ever. Even if you want to do a triple threat elimination match and have Punk be in there for 5 minutes, at least he can say he main evented. The match has another dimension to it. And also, in hindsight, what happened in Cena Rock, he injured himself like 5 minutes into the match. He tells his story, like he hurt himself, so you might as well have Punk in there so that, say that does happen, Punk can take all the, they do an audible, Punk takes all the abuse and the damage and whatnot. So that's what I would have done. You probably end up having Cena win because it's WWE, what do you expect? But nevertheless, Punk, Cena, Rock, I'd have that main event WrestleMania 29. WrestleMania 30. Oh boy. So, in real life, WWE, they just, dear oh dear, that whole thing they did with Randy Orton, Batista, Triple H, that kind of mess that was going on in end of 2013, 2014, it was, at the time, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was the WWE and Vince McMahon just taking what the fans wanted and just ignoring. Ignoring. At the Rumble, it was blatant. At Elimination Chamber, it was blatant. They were going to have Bryan take on Triple H at WrestleMania, just randomly, like, in the co-main event, as if that would suffice. The WWE view Triple H differently than the fans do. That match, it's a good match. That shouldn't be main eventing or co-main eventing at WrestleMania. What I would have done for the WrestleMania 30 main event, I would have CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World title. I think, as a match, that's going to interest far more people than Randy Orton, Batista, like, on their own, and then Orton, Batista, and Bryan in a triple threat, okay? If you must have Randy Orton, Batista, put that earlier on in the show. We don't need to see it, okay? You can have Triple H take on God knows who. You can rearrange the card accordingly. But CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, give him 25 minutes, 30 minutes, have it be a 5-star match, have it be a great way to close your WrestleMania. Bryan eventually beats Punk, makes him tap, whatever you want to do. I'm sure Punk wouldn't really care. Second straight WrestleMania main event, if you're going by this. So, Punk main events, Bryan ends up getting his big moment. He has the miracle kid, the dreams come true, that kind of thing. You have Bryan doing the yes chant with the world title belts and the strapping falling off and everything, Connor the Crusher, that kind of thing. Have it all happen, be a great moment still, and the match would be so much better, as opposed to that triple threat which Orton RKO'd someone on the announce table and nearly broke his back. Like, it was just a mess of a match, that triple threat. So, Punk and Bryan, that's what I have here. I think so many more people would love that. It'd be a great match to do. And yeah, so that'll be WrestleMania 30. Moving on, WrestleMania 31. This one, I would have Sting take on The Undertaker. Now, Sting and Taker, it's been a dream match concept for years and years. And personally, I feel like WrestleMania 31 would have been the year to do it. Sting, he came into the company at Survivor Series, did the angle where he took down the Authority after Ziggler was down, and they ended up getting the Authority out of power for like a week. Sting made his impact there. They had the match with Sting and Triple H, like third on the show. It just felt kind of there. They had the NWO, DX, they made it a big nostalgic feel. That's cool. Personally, I would have done that at the Royal Rumble, and you can save Sting and Undertaker for WrestleMania. That's how I would have booked things, because the way they did it, there's like a Sting and Triple H segment at Fastlane. The TV segments weren't very good. Sting was there every like third week. So you might as well have Sting and Triple H, get that over with at the Rumble, have a marquee match at that 2015 Rumble show, which God it needed it, but nevertheless, Sting Undertaker here, give them 15, 20 minutes. You don't want these two out saying they're welcome. It's 2015 Sting versus 2015 Undertaker. This isn't something you want going for half an hour, okay? Have it be a super cool spectacle. Undertaker makes his big entrance, Sting makes his sick entrance. They're in the dark at the stadium. This was the year at WrestleMania 31 where, because of where they held it in California, I believe, like, nothing was dark until the actual main event with Brock and Reigns. So I have this in the dark, be a real spectacle dream match. That's all you really want from this WrestleMania. You can still do the thing with Brock, Seth, and Reigns. Have that be earlier in the show. Maybe put that third to last and then have like a random filler match, to give the fans a breather and a bathroom break or something. But regardless, Sting Undertaker, 2015 was the year to do it. I would have had a main event, and fans would have loved that a whole lot more than what they did. WrestleMania 32. This one, it's a pretty difficult one to think about because I look back at this card. You had Roman Reigns, Triple H in the main event, which right away, I'm not doing that. That match was terrible, and everything about it. It went like half an hour. The fans didn't care for it. It was so obvious what they were doing. Reigns overcoming the Authority to win the title. No one was really into it. So I wouldn't have that main event. I'd have Reigns and Brock do a WrestleMania 31 rematch earlier in the show. That's how I'd book it, but still. The main event I'd do for WrestleMania 32, Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the WWE Championship in a no-holds-barred match. Here's my explanation. Hear me out. Earlier on the show, you had Ambrose and Brock in a no-holds-barred match, which was terrible. Don't kid yourself, guys. It was terrible. Ambrose and Brock, on paper, so much potential there. It just didn't deliver. Brock wasn't very cooperative. Ambrose wasn't cooperative. It was a bit of a mess. Like, on the whole, Ambrose and Brock, just a letdown. So I'd do Ambrose, Triple H. They had the match at Roadblock, like, a few weeks earlier. I don't know why, but they had that match. Basically, I'd do that match in the main event of WrestleMania, only throw in no holds barred, put the gimmick stipulation and the violence and the chaos like on steroids, make it a really fun 25-30 minute match, and give Ambrose his WrestleMania moment and have him hold the WWE title at the end of WrestleMania, because you would have had Seth win it at 31, Ambrose wins it at 32. I think that'd be a great idea. Personally, the fans would have gone home happy with Ambrose winning, as opposed to Reigns, which no one cared for. It was a bit of a letdown, in all honesty. So that's what I would have done there. Dean Ambrose versus Triple H, main events WrestleMania 32. WWE title, no holds barred. WrestleMania 33. This show, it's another one. You could have had a couple of different main events for this, and it's really like a take your pick, as opposed to what you want. You could have had Goldberg beat Brock in the main event, the WWE title, in like that 5-minute match. Sorry. Brock beats Goldberg. Could have done Brock and Goldberg in the main event, which would have been weird because it was like 5 minutes, but still, you could have done Kevin Owens, Jericho, WWE title. You could have done that. Or not WWE title. You could have just done Owens and Jericho somehow. Those two were the main stars of the WWE in that like 7-month period, so if you got them in a main event somehow, that'd be fine. But for me, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, I'd keep that as the WrestleMania 33 main event on the condition that Undertaker stays retired. Because there's nothing I hate more in wrestling. Well, there probably is, but the one thing that I hate in wrestling is when they have a retirement match and the guy just comes out of retirement like a year or two later. Undertaker, this is the time you retire him, you do it, like that's it. No more matches from here, because after WrestleMania 33, what's Undertaker done? He's had a couple of like mediocre and terrible matches in Saudi Arabia. He's faced he's had a match at Extreme Rules this year with teaming up with Reigns against Shane and Drew McIntyre. Like what is that? Like, have him retired by Reigns at 33 and be done. Okay? What they did at WrestleMania 33 with the ending, it was fantastic. No need to change that. So that's what we're sticking with. WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker retirement match. WrestleMania 34. Brock and Reigns, they main evented this one. WWE title. It was terrible, as an understatement. It was so bad. I can't even put it into words. What I would have done, this would have pleased a lot of people. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. the WWE Championship, main event, give it half an hour, have them absolutely steal the show. Don't tell them to have a slow match, to pace themselves, not to outdo the main event. Have them just do everything they can. These two guys, they've been mainstays of the business for the last 15 odd years. Let them go out, have this big WrestleMania moment in the main event, this sick match. Whatever you want to do with the ending, I don't really care. Whether you have Styles win, Nakamura win, doesn't bother me. I just think Styles and Nakamura in any capacity beats that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar just mess that we got in the main event. So that's what I would have done. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, main event WrestleMania 34 for the WWE title. And then we get to WrestleMania 35 this year. This one, I keep it with Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky on the condition that they trim down this show, because WrestleMania 35, the main card in totality, the main card alone, ran for 5 hours and 18 minutes. The kickoff show ran for 2 hours. That is over 7 hours of wrestling in one night. That is disgusting. You can't be doing that. So what I'd trim like an hour off the kickoff show. The kickoff show does not need to be 2 hours. It can be an hour of matches, and that's it. So an hour-long kickoff show, and then I'd literally trim off like 30 minutes to an hour of matches from the main card. Whether you put, I don't know how you do it, but you get rid of some matches so that this Ronda, Charlotte, Becky match, it would feel more like special because of the crowd, because you got to midnight when this match happened and the crowd was dead. No one cared to see Ronda, Charlotte, Becky after midnight, okay? If you had this match take place at 11, the interest level would be far higher, because it's just too much wrestling. The fans got killed. Like, Becky had a big moment. That was great. Nothing bad to say about that, but it was just the circumstance of it. Could have been so much better than what it was. So that's WrestleMania 35. Ronda, Charlotte, Becky. Triple threat. Keep it the same. So in summary, I would have WrestleMania 26. Stay the exact same. WrestleMania 27. Just shuffle the card. Moving Undertaker, Triple H to the main event. WrestleMania 28. Honestly, don't know. I'd put the end of an era Hell in a Cell match in the main event, so you're just reshuffling the card. WrestleMania 29, completely kind of overhaul the card here. Put Punk in the main event, make it a triple threat with Cena and The Rock. Undertaker can work with someone else, put a young guy over, that kind of thing. WrestleMania 30, completely overhaul the card. CM Punk vs Daniel Bryan, WWE title. I think that'd be awesome to end WrestleMania 30. Then we get to WrestleMania 31, Sting Undertaker. I think that'd be sick. Get the dream match done there. Have it be a big spectacle, big pop and circumstance. That'd be awesome. Wouldn't be the best match, but who cares? It's all for the spectacle. And WrestleMania 31 wasn't great to begin with. 32, hard WrestleMania to rebook. Well, not many avenues you really go with this, but regardless, Ambrose Triple H, WWE title, no holds barred. I think that'd be pretty cool. WrestleMania 33, keep it the exact same. WrestleMania 34, just reshuffle the match placing. I'd have Styles Nakamura main event. And 35, keep the main event the same with the triple threat. So that's my 2010s WrestleMania rebooking for the main events. I think there's some pretty good matches we could have gotten. Don't know what you guys think. Leave comments below, like, comment, sub, that kind of thing. All good. See ya.